Oh man, so you guys asked for it and it is here, a Kadena update video. In this video we're going to talk about Kadena, whether I'm going to allocate a part of my portfolio to it, whether I'm going to go all in, and what I think overall about the project. This is going to be a wide sweeping overall update with some of the updates. What is it trying to achieve and what are some of the key levels in the charts? Guys, smash up the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, check out BYBIT and BTGET, links in the description. Now, Kadena, it rose to fame towards the back end of last year, right? We covered it here on this channel. Kadena had a really big run up all the way to about $28 before now falling with the wider crypto correction down to $1.54. And the question now, which sits on all of our mind, is what is the risk to reward? On the way up, we're going to need to decide which tokens do we want to allocate a part of our portfolio to. And the question is, will this $1.54 comfortably return back to this Fibonacci level of $18, right? The 0.618 to 0.65 gives you an $18 to $19 Kadena here, and this could be a really good risk to reward opportunity. So we're going to take a quick look to see whether this is a viable allocation. Now, the first thing to know is if you look at the market cap of Kadena, you will see that it peaked at 3.8 billion. So this was no small project at the time. This is quite large. I mean, to put this into context, something like Phantom, which had loads of total value locked, has really got a lot of traction, was sitting under $1 billion just recently here. So for it to be at 3.8 billion shows that it really did hit some really high highs in November of 2021. Now, currently it's sitting at a market cap of 285 million. So we have to remind ourselves, this is a small cap project. It's going to be high risk, high reward, but we should only allocate the right portion of our portfolio to a project like this. It should be part of your layer one section of your portfolio and part of the lower cap portions of that section. Okay, very, very important. Don't go misallocating like 3AC and Voyager. It's going to get you wrecked. You saw what happened to Celsius, you saw what happened to 3 Arrows Capital and Voyager. We're not going to do that. Now, fully diluted market cap is sitting at 1.5. Now, why is that the case? Well, fully diluted market cap is based on how much is going to be released into the market. Now, we know there's a fixed supply of 1 billion KDA tokens to be released. Only 18% of that supply is currently circulating, okay? So 184 million of that is currently circulating. So to put this into context, at the time when Kadena was at a peak of 3.8 billion, roughly, we're talking about a $20 billion fully diluted market cap value. That was huge at the time for a project which, admittedly, even by people on who are hugely investing in Kadena, was still in its early infancy. Now, what is Kadena? What are they trying to achieve? We've got a lot of different layer one solutions out there. We know what they all do. We've got Ethereum, we've got Avalanche, we've got Phantom, you've got Solana, you've got all these projects out there. What is the niche that Kadena is trying to target? And the niche they're trying to target is they believe they're the first proof of work, layer one, green blockchain, which has solved the blockchain trilemma, okay? They think they've solved the decentralization, scalability, and security trilemma, which they believe other layer one solutions have not been able to do, okay? So if we were to take a look, we're going to come on to this very, very shortly. We've got a whole bunch of different things I'm going to be flicking through. But the first thing I want to show you here is they have very good investor backing, okay? So if we take a look at the rounds they've had, they've got in blockchain, Susquehanna, who's a big funder in the equity space, Multicoin, we know, are quite large as well, SV, Distributed Global. So they have raised funds. They've raised about 12 to 15 million in funding up to 2018. Now, the question is, how much runway do they still have left? As we know, for all these small market cap projects, we have to understand, do they have enough cash in the bank to cover off their runway? And my idea is if we're going to be in this bear market for, say, another 12 to 18 months, or at the worst case 2 years, does Kadena have enough backing? And if they've got 10 to 15 million in the bank, that should carry them through quite comfortably if they manage their budget accordingly. Now, coming back to how does Kadena try to differentiate themselves? Well, we know that Ethereum is trying to move across to proof of stake, okay? Once the merge happens with the Beacon chain, they will become a fully proof of stake blockchain, and they will no longer be proof of work. We know the rest of them, whether it's Avalanche, Elrond, Polkadot, Cardano, are all based on proof of stake, and then Bitcoin is left as the only other solution which is pure proof of work. But we know what the limitations with the Bitcoin are, right? We know the limitations are it's very slow transaction finality, 30 to 60 minutes, high transaction fees of $12, and also the scalability is very, very low. So what Kadena are saying is we're the better Bitcoin. We're almost the Bitcoin and Ethereum killer all tied into one. So they're going to keep the proof of work, but it's going to be greener. It's going to be more decentralized than some of the proof of stake networks out there. It's going to be scalable, unlimited through their chain web. They're going to have high transaction throughput. They're saying it's capable theoretically of up to 480,000 transactions per second, which makes even Solana look slow in terms of throughput. Their transaction fees at 0.000, I don't know how many notes there are almost non-existent. Their finality is 90 seconds, which isn't as fast as things like as Algorand or Avalanche or Solana, but still it's workable, right? 90 seconds is workable, and they say it's instant with Kuro. And then it just seems like theoretically this is a really, really strong blockchain, right? Then we need to move on and we say, okay, let's look at the team. And the team is solid as well. When you look at their team, we mentioned this in the videos I made last year. These are ex-JP Morgan employees who set out and to do their own thing. So they were working on the JP Morgan coin. So you've got ex JP Morgan, ex Disney, ex Apple, ex Twitter, ex Tezos, Microsoft, ex Bitcoin, Cardano, HP. So this is a really, really experienced team. And as you can see, well backed and almost like a corporate traditional finance approach to crypto is almost the way I'm thinking about it. That's very, very interesting. They've got the funding, they've got the team, they've got the right kind of niche. I mean, if you look at this is with their chain web expandability. They're saying they're easily able to scale up as the number of chains scale up. This is an example with 10,000 chains just here. If I move me out the way there, you'll be able to see here with the 10,000 chains, they think easily 300,000 plus transactions per second, which puts Solana at a distant second place very, very comfortably. Now, if we look at this argument, which is the big ESG argument, those of you who were in crypto last year, you will remember that Elon Musk famously came out and said Tesla were going to accept payments in Bitcoin for the cars itself. And then he U-turned to say, no, it doesn't meet the ESG standards. It wastes too much energy in terms of its consumption. Now, this puts it into perspective. So Bitcoin, you're talking about 1,794 kilowatt hours per single transaction. That's about the energy it would take 2 trains to travel at 100 kilometers per hour. Ethereum is a little bit better, 180 kilowatts per hour, about the energy it would take 3 trucks to travel 100 kilometers. And then Kadena comes in at an impressive 0.001 theoretically, the energy it would take to turn on an electric scooter. So when you look at Kadena, you can see why a lot of people are really, really excited about the potential here, in that it's a proof of work blockchain, which we know is the battle tested, tried, secure platform, right? Bitcoin's got the most secure platform of any, so why would you not follow its consensus mechanism? But then at the same time, they're saying that we've managed to solve the scalability and the energy consumption fears. Wow, makes complete sense, right? You can have the best of all worlds where they're competing, if not better, on the throughput and the finality metrics as many of the modern blockchains using proof of stake and proof of history. But at the same time, they're taking the security and the safeness of Bitcoin's network, right? Of the proof of work mechanism. So very, very interesting here. And you can see why they're so popularly touted as being a potential ETH killer in the long run. Now, do I think realistically it's going to be a Bitcoin killer? No. I think Bitcoin's far too ahead. I think the adoption is so very deep rooted and it's 12 years ahead. But can Kadena compete with the other layer 1 blockchains out there? I don't see why not. I think it's got a long way to go, but as a high risk to reward bet, is it worth placing a little bit of your portfolio in? I think so, and this is definitely something I'm going to take a lot more seriously now that we're at sensible prices. I remember when I made my videos earlier, it just ran away. It ran up to $28, and this was something where I was not going to chase in the FOMO. I mean, it was not worth a 20 billion fully diluted market cap at that point. I mean, they didn't have anything. Now they've got DEXs, they're listed on major exchanges, they're making good progress, right? They've now launched their $100 million grant to go and attract dApp developers. You can see the fundamentals really, really are starting to take shape. And when you look at this visualization, you can see how it competes with all the other blockchains. It's there, right? And if you trust that team with the funding they've got to go ahead and deliver on this over the next 12 to 18 months in this bear market, just build, can they be one of those that competes in the next bull run? I definitely think it's worth a little bit of an allocation. Now let's take a look at some of the pricing, right? When we're looking at pricing, you can see here the fib levels are suggesting even at a comfortable bounce, can we start working our way back to $11? I mean, that's only bringing you to your 0.382 Fibonacci line. So as your risk to reward there, you're comfortably looking at a 4x roughly here, right? So very, very, sorry, even more than that, you're looking at a close to a 6x just to kind of come to this region here, let alone trying to work your way up to 19. That would be a very successful risk to reward allocation in your portfolio. Now, are they going to face headwinds? Absolutely. Like any other layer 1 blockchain out there, Kadena will face a bunch of different headwinds, right? They're going to have FUD, they're going to have scalability challenges, they're going to have challenges in attracting really good dApp developers, maybe they'll have some hacking going on, maybe they'll have tokenomic issues. They'll have to go through the rites of passage of every other layer 1 blockchain out there. But have they managed to corner themselves out a niche? I think so. And I think the way I like to think about this is I see it as a clever hedge. Now, remember when I used to give the analogy of why do I invest in Cardano? I invest in Cardano as a hedge against the other blockchains, because other blockchains, when you think about a Solana, what would I always say? This was before Solana's downtime. I would always say they would move fast and break things. And the example I would always use is from the stock market. You look at a company like Facebook and they want to move fast and break things, grow for any cost. Right? And then you had other companies which move slower. They take their time, but they want to be here over the 5-10 year picture. And they're always there. They're always steady. They're always going to achieve. And I always saw Cardano at that. I knew they were going to get a whole bunch of stick because projects like Solana will be out of the gate first and getting loads of total value locked. The price will be moving and the community will love what Solana's doing with the VC backing. But then I also knew Cardano was going to move slowly and build things. So I look at this as the same approach. I see this as a hedge of proof of work. So if all the other layer 1 blockchains I just showed you failed for whatever reason, if proof of stake and proof of history become archaic or there's something wrong with it from a security point of view, then what in your portfolio is something different? I mean, do you have something like HBAR, which I may need to make another video about in terms of having non-blockchain such as a hash graph, but then in this case having something like which is proof of work. So you have a layer 1 part of your portfolio which is not just all proof of stake but proof of work as well. But then also, what about the team? Do you have any projects in your portfolio where the team aren't just all blockchain fanatics, aren't just a bunch of teenagers who grew up playing in Web3, but are actually people who have built companies and built successful products in the corporate world? Would that not be a clever hedge to have a team which has that experience of being in the corporate world, of actually making progress and delivering? Because remember, we spoke about Algorand. What were one of the issues with Algorand? They've got great tech. The team has done an amazing job, but up until recently, they couldn't figure out their marketing. Then they went and brought in ex-JP Morgan Stacey Warden as the CEO, and now you can see some green shoots of improving that marketing. So exciting times for Kadena. Definitely one to watch, and something I'm going to put on my post-it notes here to say I need to keep an eye on Kadena on the rotation up. As you guys know, right now in this market, I'm not allocating any altcoins. I'm allocating Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the time will come when I will start making my purchases of my favorite layer 1 solutions. Remember, the first battleground after Bitcoin recovers will be layer 1 solutions. You will see them move. And we need to be allocated in the right layer 1 solutions, which we think are going to really be successful in the next bull run and really provide good utility and have great dApps for users to use in the next bull run. Hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you want a more detailed breakdown of any aspect of Kadena, let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Do check out BYBIT and BitGet, links in the description. Those are affiliate links, so they do support the channel. But if you've got one of those accounts, make another one, support the channel, get yourself a bonus set up, go watch this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.